everyone, and welcome to Smells Like Teen Angst. We are here to talk about Cruel Summer, Season 2, Episode 1. Let's frickin' do it. Yeah, and as always, I have my band of cohorts with me. Say hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies. I'm Jordan. You can find me on the internet at Lambertra.
As always.
And I'm Keiki. You can find me on the internet at The Life of Keiki, but just here. I'm always here. That's all that matters.
We're always here. We're always doing things. Blackness and Dragons has taken a mini hiatus, but when it comes back, you can find these two playing amazing Dungeons and Dragons over at QueueTimes. I'll throw up a banner or something. I don't know. I'll put it in the thing. So Cruel Summer is back. Last year, we loved this show so much, but we were not able to get screeners. We weren't able to view it in time to do an after show. So we said, if this thing came back for a season 2, we are begging Freeform, and they came through. So I'm so excited. This series is an anthology series. I think that's really smart because the way season 1 ended off, I don't want to go back to those characters.
No, it ended perfectly.
Yeah, don't mess with it. We like that. We'll leave that. So season 2 starts brand new, super fresh. It's like American Horror Story, right? And so I just want to, at first, before we fully dive in, what did you two think of this first episode?
My initial thought was I was wondering how they were going to recapture the magic, because you're right. We all were obsessed with season 1. We loved it. We were watching it separately and texting each other the whole time. And I was like, I don't understand how they're going to recapture that magic. And I really think that Cruel Summer has some of the best writing that Freeform has to offer. So I started episode 1, season 2, very skeptical. And by the end of the episode, I was like, they did it! Somehow they did it!
Absolutely. I was taken aback by how different, but similar all these characters looked. And I was like, oh, it's an anthology. It's a different story. Don't expect anything. And we got all of the timelines in the first episode. So I was just shocked and surprised that I was able to follow just as quickly as before and invest in the characters in one episode just as quickly as before.
Absolutely. And what I also liked, where I was skeptical is it stayed in the 90s, right? Season 1 was early 90s and season 2 is Y2K 90s. So I'm like, oh, it's all the same time period. It's all going to look the same. I was wrong. I am not one to
I think they've captured that Y2K time perfectly. Some of the outfits made me cringe so hard. That's how we all
Did you wear them?
And also, I will say this soundtrack is giving me life. I love the early 90s one because I'm a huge grunge early 90s person. But, this was my time period. So,
I know. I found myself wildly distracted by the soundtrack from time to time. Just because I was like, oh, it's such a bop. And I'm singing along. It's so good.
I was singing songs and then somebody would start saying something and then I'd be like, oh, wait, I'm missing something. I need to be quiet.
I definitely was we need to start a Cruel Summer playlist and put it on our Spotify.
Yes. Jordan, you guys are always so good at the playlist. We have the Twilight one, so we got to have this Cruel Summer one. I think it's a great idea. So check out our Spotify, guys. We're going to make that. So let's talk a little bit about these characters before we dive into the time periods. So our main 3 are Megan Landry is Sadie Stanley. She's from the Goldbergs. Griffin Gluck is Luke Chambers in real life. He's from Tall Girl, which I love Tall Girl. And then Isabella, who's played by Lexi Underwood, and she is from Sneakerella. So these are the 3 players. We've got 2 girls, 1 boy. I wonder what this could turn into. Love triangles, drama, sagas, we shall see. And then the parents are involved, which I'm like, yes, keep the parents involved because we had adults in the first one. And this one, I feel like we've got Debbie, who's Megan's mom, and Luke's dad. I don't know his name, but he's like from the menu, that are super involved in whatever is going to happen. And I think that's
I like it.
What
And it's a callback to season 1 where we had the like parental storylines that like added to the drama of what the teens were going through and made it like generational small town drama.
Exactly. And I'm always like the first person to say, like, you know, certain parents raise certain type of kids. So you learn it from somewhere. You just don't glean and grow up and do these things. Like
Right.
there's something that is in you. From the ingenuity that has been instilled in you from your parents throughout your life.
Because you've got Megan, who's from this like poor family. Griffin, yeah, that's not his name. Luke is from an affluent family, and then Isabella is the mysterious one. She's like the foreign exchange student, but she's not. She's just military, but she's not. She's lived all over the world, supposedly.
And that's what makes her like sketchy from the jump. But I feel like it's not like they're not going to make it that easy on us.
Yeah.
Like they can't make it that easy on us. There's no way it's her. But in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, ambassador's daughter, foreign exchange student.
Well, that's what part of the mystery when they're not revealing exactly what's happened. I was like, well, there's no way it's Isabella because her parents are diplomats or ambassadors or whatever. So like if it was her, this would be a bigger story. But then you find out that's not her, it's Luke.
Ooh, spoilers. No, it's not. But like, you know, if you're watching this, obviously this is what you're here for. So the time frames, we've got summer of 1999, winter of 1999, and then summer of 2000. And so this whole thing takes place in a year and how things change. Oh, yes.
I just want to say, I think it's very juicy that it happens like during winter of 1999. So we're like legitimately in the Y2K event. And Megan is a coder.
Yes. So fun.
And we were all coders back then. I mean, MySpace had us freaking HTML madness, okay? I'm surprised that more millennials are not coders because we were on those keys as kids, okay?
This is the hill that I die on, though. It wasn't just MySpace. Like, MySpace was, everybody was coding it. But if you had a live journal is where that coding got nitty gritty.
Or Tumblr.
Right? Them live journal and them Tumblr layouts. We were like, I was staying up at all kinds of hours making my Tumblr look fresh.
If you wanted that clean aesthetic where like the page was right and things scrolled perfectly and you didn't see any like jump capture, you can only see views. Like,
right? If you were going to add a song to it, you needed to make sure that the music played when people were scrolling so they saw the picture of the band. It was a time.
It was a time.
Yep. I had my little glittery doll looking images of like myself and my friends. Yes.
And in the era of top 8, I mean, how brutal.
Oh,
we ranked our friends. We ranked our friends.
That ended friendships.
I think about that all the time because of Taylor Swift's Bejeweled, where she goes, you can't, what did she say? Something about being in their top 5? And I'm like, it's top 8, Taylor, in your top 8.
Right, but wasn't it originally 5 and then it became 8 because so much drama? I don't know. We'd have to ask Tom. Tom, are you still out there?
Tom?
So let's dive in to July of 1999. So Isabella is coming to live with Megan and her family, and Megan is not happy about it because why? I don't know. She's just like a girl invading my space. They don't really say why other than being like, she just keeps things close to her chest. And I'm like, okay, she's just grumpy.
Megan's just a disgruntled teenager. She's just a grumpy ass disgruntled teen. It's fine.
It's fine. And I love like Megan starts like going in Isabella's room, rifling through her stuff and sees a passport. And I feel like all these little moments are going to be important later. And I know I'll never remember them. You know? And of course she gets caught. And they like try to wash it under the bridge. They're forced to hang out and they couldn't be more opposite, right? You've got Megan, who's the super brain. As you guys said, she's a coder. And then you've got, I love that Isabella, she's like, I'm a student of life.
I'm an oligot, you know, like speak a little
what I do. They're like opposites attract, but I feel like that makes the best friendships, right? You two are my Slytherins, and I am your Hufflepuff. It's perfect.
It's also really fun to see that dichotomy throughout all the eras, though, because you see that in the beginning, it's like, I would never be friends with her. And then you get to the next era, they're best friends. Or you see people who used to be friends who aren't friends by the end of the era. So it's just like, that's how quickly things changed at that moment in time and in their life. And in whatever circumstance they went through.
Yeah. And then I think it's something that, like, when you're in your teens and even your early 20s, you have a hard time sharing your friends and your people. So I do like how they're building so much jealousy, because these are all Megan's friends. But then Isabella comes in and she's like the cool girl, the cute girl, the one that's like, oh yeah, of course I drink. Of course I do the drugs. Of course I know all the things that boys like. And she's just like fuming in a way that this girl was able to just come into her life and make friends.
It's also so small town. And like, I say this as somebody who grew up in the suburbs. When a new person shows up, it's the most exciting event in your life. And everyone immediately flocks to them just because when you have like the way that they're setting this town up, literally everyone knows everyone. Your parents all grew up together. Then they had you, and like you and your friends grew up together. You know everybody's business. Nothing new or exciting happens. So when someone does move in, you're like,
oh yeah, it's fresh meat all the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I grew up in a teeny tiny town in Virginia for a long time. And that's exactly how it was. There was like, oh, you're new? Who are you? They were the gossip of the town. It was like Twilight. If they had a newspaper,
exactly.
there would be an article on the new girl in town. 100%. And this era sets up that Isabella thinks Luke is really cute, and Luke is Megan's best friend. They haven't crossed any lines, but you can tell that he's got feelings for her, and she does as well, but refuses to admit it. And so I'm like, oh, all those little jealousy nuggets are really, really good. But then flash forward now into December of 1999, and Megan and Luke are dating. And I'm like, how did this happen? How did we go from them just being friends to now they're dating? Fill me in.
My one complaint is that Luke is not hot enough. And there was a moment where I'm like, well, you're in your 30s. You shouldn't be finding teenagers hot. But then I'm like, they could have just found a more attractive boy. Like, I don't care how young he is. If he's going to be the hot guy that two girls are fighting over, I need him to actually be hot. No offense, Griffin.
But also, wasn't that the case, though, in like small settings? Like, if you think back, like, Jordan and I went to a very small university, and like everyone had eyes for the same people. And
three guys.
They just weren't it, you know? Like, you were like, yes, you're trapped in a cage. We could drive 40 minutes up the road to Los Angeles, and I will show you what men look like. But it's just like you're trapped in a bubble, and that could be the case there too.
Absolutely. I think he's adorable. Like I said, I love him from Tall Girl. I think he's so precious. He would have very much been my type in high school, because I can look back at all the boys I had crushes on, and I would not now. They all...
Give me that Joshua Jackson, all right? Give me that, any of the guys from 90210. Any of them. Give me that look.
Any of them.
I mean, like Josh Hartnett. Was nobody into Josh Hartnett? I was obsessed with Josh Hartnett.
Look, but though you remember Josh Hartnett, Joshua Jackson, those are all the tens of their towns that came to Hollywood. You got to think of the average Joes that were the tens of your city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, like, you know, what was the name? Dean and Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, Jared Padalecki.
Yes.
Like, those were the boys that everybody had the right to be obsessed over.
My Justin King, if he's still around, shout out. Megan is celebrating getting into college. She's going to the college of her dreams. We see now that she and Isabella are besties and best friends enough to have their own Twilight moment to jump off a cliff together in celebration of her getting into college. And I was like, and also this 1999 December has a blue filter. So if you put a blue filter on anything, it is automatically a Twilight sequence.
It's the only part of this show that I think is a little cheesy, but it also calls back to what they did in season 1, like to make it easy for you to differentiate what time period you're in. The summer of 1999 is like just regular, no filter. And then a winter has the blue Twilight filter. And then the following summer has like sepia to the max.
Yeah, I called it green. I was like, it's just real green.
It's practically green. It's so washed out.
Yeah. So, but
It's
also they did a good job with the music because the music changes for each section as well. Yeah. So I think they did a great job with that. And then we have this like Betty, Jughead, Alice FP thing going on with Megan and Luke's parents dating. You know.
Does anybody know that they're dating? Because to me, it felt like a secret.
I think
like it seems like a secret, but then also when we get to the Christmas party, they're talking about each other and they see them. So I'm like, maybe it's not. But then Luke's dad says the most snarky ass thing.
Partners.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said they're like business partners, so I get why people would be talking about them because like they're business together.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, also, the mom seemed oddly in support of that relationship too. So,
it's weird. I'm like, who started dating first? Right? And then whoever it is, right? You win. Like, if you dated second, you got to let it go. And then like Luke's dad says like the rudest shit about his son and Megan's relationship, about how it's not going to last and it's not forever. And I was like, dang, bro, that's rude.
Rude.
So rude. And then at this party, Luke says, I love you. They say I love you to each other. And it's so cute because it's one of those like in passing moments. And I think they did it well because it's one of those moments where you just said it without thinking. And you're like, I've been there. I've done that.
I don't think that's the first episode, Sarah. Spoiler alert.
No, that's the first episode. It's the Christmas party.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you. Oh, it is.
It is.
Sorry.
Don't worry. I got my notes very specific. They don't even touch. They can't. But yeah, they say I love you. But then we have the big like OMG moment. Cliffhanger happens in 1999. Well, I guess one of them, because there's a couple of them. Is when apparently at this Christmas party, the family plays like an annual Christmas movie. It's a Christmas, like this is the tradition they've been doing, you know, to keep it alive since their mother has passed. And when that tape hits play, someone hits play. It is not Christmas Vacation. We are not watching White Christmas. It is a sex tape.
It wasn't the Grinch either.
No, it wasn't the Grinch. It was
somebody had a White Christmas party in that video.
Oh gosh.
It is a sex tape with Luke and a possible mystery girl, but everyone thinks it's Isabella. Now, this might be controversial, but my thought was, first was like, one, did they know they were filming this tape? 2, who decided to share it? And then 3, did Isabella and Luke date and this happened when they were dating, or was Luke cheating? Because that to me like makes my reaction.
I took in context clues from the way everybody reacted. So from the way that everybody reacted, I assumed that it was supposed to be cheating.
Yeah, I assume that as well. But small town chaos of like, even if it wasn't cheating and you just see this video in front of everyone, because Megan like runs off, that's embarrassing in general. And I wouldn't want to talk to anyone involved.
No.
And I also feel like they really kind of set it up that, you know, Isabella was like, hey, he's cute. I'm going to kind of go after him.
Yeah.
You know, before they were actually like dating or anything in that first part. So it's kind of like we're all in this space where we're like, well, it could be her. It could be before they were ever anything.
Right. They could have dated and done this thing. And like maybe they lied and said that they never hooked up. And now this is the reveal that they did hook up. Like I had too many questions when this happened to be upset.
There were layers for sure.
Tons of layers. So then let's jump to the summer of 2000 with our sepia green filter, our music hardcore change, and Megan with her slick back hair.
Megan's goth now.
I wrote Megan's emo, but yeah, I guess it is goth at that point because emo would be 0304, right?
Yeah, I was like, look at her. I'm like, Megan's no longer fun and bubbly. She wants to be Angelina Jolie in Hackers.
True.
Like that's what I thought.
Okay, but who didn't want to be Angelina Jolie in Hackers though?
Facts though. I mean,
Yeah.
You're not wrong. So I just like giggled a little bit because I was like, what a silly extreme, but also accurate. Like something terrible happened and this is where we are now. She's like coding for someone and like selling, I don't know what code she's selling. I don't understand. And she's wandering around the town and we see this missing person sign. There's no picture. It just says like missing. And she says something like, this would never have happened if she didn't show up. And I'm like, oh my God, is Isabella missing? I'm like, what a great red herring that moment was.
That was the part where I was like, there's no way that it's Isabella missing because if her parents are diplomats or ambassadors or whatever, then
this would be a huge thing, yes.
Yeah, the feds would be there.
Yeah, but do we believe that? I don't know if I believe that. So I'm in the camp of everyone is lying.
At that point in the episode, I believed that she was telling the truth.
Okay. I can get behind that. There's also whispers in town about a body being found in the lake. So whoever's missing, odds are that that's the body. And then you see Megan like holding up Isabella's license and frantically cleaning blood off the floor. And I'm like, why does she have the license? Why is there blood on the floor? Whose blood is it? It was like this thing hit the ground running. I like
whose blood is it? Whose cabin is it? Whose car is it? Why does she have her ID? What's up with this grunge look? Should she be at college at this point? There were so many questions I had when we flash forward to this.
So many questions.
Yeah. And I appreciate that they do answer a couple of them. So in the end, the next big like dun 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 moment, we had the sex tape and now we've got this. The body in the lake is Luke. So somewhere between Christmas and now, the man is unalived in some way. Isabella's not missing. She rolls up next to Megan. They're not friends anymore. And she's like, we have to get our stories straight. Excuse me? And that's how we're going to end this episode.
That was where I 100% got invested because I needed to know who done it. Who did this?
Done it? Like, good job, Freeform. This show was like, we are not going to have a sophomore slump. We are going to do it again. And I hope it stays this way because right now, after episode 1, it is so good. I need to know what happens next.
I'm truly invested. I really would like to know how this happened. And I like that, it's a whole type of different storyline in drama, It's not the missing girl. It's not weird teacher-student relationships. It's a death. A body in the lake. How do we find a body in the lake?
It's a murder mystery this season, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love a murder mystery.
I love a good old-fashioned murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, fortunately, Freeform is dropping the first 2 episodes of this bad boy back to back, and we will be discussing both this week. So, ladies, unless you have any more thoughts on episode 1, we're going to say goodbye and head into episode 2.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. We'll see you over there.